A new character in a gacha game brings a lot to the table. More playstyles, more insane animations, and perhaps most importantly, more expenses. Whether it be astrites for your pulls or upgrade materials for your skills, building a new character is something that takes a lot of time and resources. Throw a new weapon into the mix with all of its own costs, and you have a mission that can take days, if not weeks, to complete. Oftentimes, players might make the decision to skip a banner completely because they don't have the resources or the gear to make that new character effective. But what if you didn't have to worry about the weapon at all? Didn't have to worry about the hundreds of thousands of credits or countless forgery challenges required to make a character usable? I think that'd make you more likely to pull. I know that was the case for me. Now I have a blushing painter on my roster. The design of weapons and the weapon system within Wuthering Waves is absolutely fantastic. It's a system that combines player friendliness with incentives to spend, rewarding both players and Kuro for their investments. With weapons as one of the biggest barriers to entry when it comes to a character's performance, Kuro's approach to limited 5 stars makes them more valuable, efficient, and versatile than almost any other gacha game on the market. You get more for what you spend, be it your resources earned in-game or the money you pull out of your wallet. Today we'll be discussing why this is the case, breaking down limited weapon design, why it's so player-friendly, and how Kuro's generosity actually promotes long-term spending across its player base. But while we're on the topic of spending, it's worth mentioning a great service I found to get more for what you spend, even outside of the game. LD Shop is one of the best ways to spend your real money on Wuthering Waves. With my Lunite subscription running out, I was able to purchase 30 more days through its top-up services at a great discount to fund my future Zhangli weapon pulls. All I had to do was select a shop item, choose my login method, enter my server, and then my Kuro account information. I know this might seem a bit sus, but remember that LD is a reputable organization that already deals with sensitive user information through their emulator, LD Player. If your account was created through something like Facebook, you can just follow the directions on the top-up page to bind your account to an official Kuro login. If there are any complications at all, it's easy to reach out to customer service online to get it all figured out. After finalizing payment, all you have to do is wait a couple of minutes and your discounted items will be on your account. First-time top-up bonuses are available as well, so LD Shop is a great way to save a ton of cash on some of the big ticket items. You can get a 5% discount as a new user and an additional 5% by signing up with my sponsored link. They've also got top-ups for these other games as well. Give LD Shop a try today. Now that we've talked about value outside of Wuthering Waves, it's time to talk about the value in it. Specifically, its weapons. The weapons in Wuthering Waves are, for a lack of better term, cheaper than most big-ticket gacha games on the market. While the random nature of the banner with its decimal percentage drop rate can be great for luckier players, most will be pushing all the way to pity to get that on-banner weapon. The thing about Wuthering Waves, and honestly the biggest selling point of its limited weapons, is that they're all guaranteed. No Staff of Homa incidents here. Your worst case scenario is 80 pulls, but with a soft pity at 65, you'll likely never make it that far. Compare that to the worst case scenario in other games with 140 total pulls in HSR or ZZZ and 210 in Genshin Impact. It's clear which gacha company respects their consumers more. However, this generosity extends beyond the design of the banner. It extends to the limited 5-star weapons themselves. These weapons at a baseline are tailor-made for their limited character. However, some games take this tailoring a bit too far, to the point where these weapons can feel drastically less effective on other characters. Taking ZZZ as an example, their signature weapons will oftentimes have a specific, exclusive elemental damage bonus that when combined with their weapon class, makes it very hard to use these tools on other characters. There will either be a ton of wasted stats, or no weapon effect at all. Wuthering Waves? Its weapons give a universal elemental or attribute damage bonus. Kuro could have gotten greedy here and put an electro damage bonus on Yinlin's signature or a spectro damage bonus on Jin C's. That would be player unfriendly and a negative incentive. But they didn't. You can use these weapons and still get significant performance outside of their intended characters. That's the definition of player friendliness. Combine this with the fact that these weapons are shareable in the most challenging endgame content, you have the ability to gear your characters with fantastic base stats and benefit from at least a few parts of a weapon's passive, potentially gearing 3 teams at once with a single investment of 65 or a bit more pulls. That's using positive incentives to drive sales. That is the definition of value. You are heavily motivated to pull on these weapon banners, and you are rewarded immensely for doing so. I've only pulled 2 limited weapons, and I can already gear every team I need to clear all the endgame content. However, the opposite can take place as well. Sometimes you have a weapon that's so good and so universal that it incentivizes you to pull on characters that fit the weapon. With how drastically performance can shift depending on if you use a 4-star or a 5-star weapon, gearing can be a big hurdle for any new character. With String Master on my account, I've solved a huge number of problems that could potentially arise while building Zhezhi. With the incredible critical rate from String Master, my echo building is also a lot more simple compared to other alternatives like Cosmic Ribbles or Jinzo Keeper. The best part about using String Master, I don't have to worry about ruining my Yinlin or Encore's build, or worry about benching them for the Tower of Adversity cycle that I'm using Zhezhi on. I have complete freedom to do whatever I need to gear my characters. This might seem bad for Kuro at first. Aren't they just losing potential sales on Zhezhi's limited weapon? The fact of the matter is that I likely would not have pulled on Zhezhi's banner at all if I didn't have the flexibility of String Master available. I likely would have skipped her banner entirely, but instead I spent over 130 pulls, got a Ling Yang, and am now completely broke for Zhang Li's weapon and Shorekeeper's banner. Now I might have to spend a bit in the latter half of 1.2 and in 1.3. Zhezhi drained me, and it's all because of String Master. By making their weapons far more universal and flexible across characters, this gives a lot more incentive to pull on character banners you might not have in the past. It doesn't feel great to spend a ton of resources on a new limited character and have them perform far below their full potential. When many limited 5-star weapons are only a couple of percentage points underneath a character's signature, having these 5-star limited weapons can be a great way to save your pulls. With Wuthering Waves' weapon system, the more your account progresses, the greater your options are. It's unbelievable that it's only version 1.2 and we're seeing this dynamic develop. What Kuro is doing is rewiring the way that we think about weapons, characters, and limited banners entirely. And they're doing it in the best way possible, with positive reinforcement instead of negative. To give a character something good, you don't need to take it away from another. While this generosity can definitely have its downsides, I am positive that players will start recognizing this value more and more as their playtime and roster grows. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. Peace out.